Hello, folks. Stu Myrick here. You ready for another edition of Sports Guys Talking Wrestling? Hope you are doing well. Hope you had a good weekend. My weekend was good, I guess. Relaxed on Saturday. Traveled up to Arlington. See the Dallas Cowboys. Quite frankly, dominate the Chicago Bears, 49-29. The offense looked fantastic. Probably just about the best they've looked all season so far. So, Cowboys going to the bye week 6-2. So pretty good standing now. They'll come out and they got some tough sledding coming out of the bye week, starting with trip to Green Bay, but we'll see what happens. And I say that, but Green Bay not as formidable as they usually are. So, we got NXT on the TV, and big shout out to R-Truth. He was on NXT facing Grayson Waller. It was kind of early in the match, and Waller was outside, and R-Truth decided to do a suicide dive off top, over the top rope. He jumps, and I couldn't tell, but he jumps and he catches his foot on the rope, and so when he lands on the outside of the ring, it was pretty obvious he didn't get very much of it. But then came up with his, I believe it was left knee, injured. They went to commercial, the entire commercial break. All they were showing, it was Grayson Waller in the ring, just standing there. And they finally started cutting back a couple times to R-Truth being checked on by WWE medical staff and eventually helped to the back. So, Hopefully, whatever the injury is, it's not serious, and we see R-Truth come back, fully recovered. He's been getting quite a bit of time lately on Monday Night Raw, so he's been at this for a long time, and best wishes to R-Truth. Hope he gets better. The first segment of the radio show and the podcast is in the can, and it was really, I released it early just because it felt like it should be released, but we're gonna play it anyway. Last week had a chance to talk to former two-time NWA World Heavyweight Champion Nick Aldis, and It was a wonderful interview. Went just over 25 minutes, and so that will be the first segment of the podcast and the radio show. And you can get it. You can also get it. It's up, wherever you get your podcast. And the video is actually up on our YouTube channel, so you can check that out as well. But yeah, it was a really fun interview. And, of course, getting ready for their big special NWA Hard Times 3 coming up in about a week and a half in New Orleans. So now we got Indy Hartwell with Zoe Starks and Nikita Lyons. Interesting look that Nikita Lyons has, but, hey. They're in the locker room. So tonight, we will talk to Justin Bissonnette, a.k.a. Biss, lead promoter for Inspire After Death. Got a show Thursday night at Pinballs, the Lake Creek location here in Austin. Forbidden War. Some good matches. Got Kid Bandit coming back. It'll be a fun show. So we'll talk to Biss about that one. We are going to do a podcast only segment to preview This Saturday's WWE Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia. As of right now, there are 7 matches. And in case you have not heard, Brian Alvarez from Wrestling Observer Live, Wrestling Observer Radio, reported this a few days ago. NXT starting to make some cuts, and I think this is more of the, with all the Flash and the TV show and everything, it is a developmental territory. Or developmental brand. They are trying to develop these wrestlers to get them ready to be on Raw or SmackDown. And especially now with the NIL signings that they've had over the last year or so, there are those that probably haven't developed as much as they wanted, and I believe they've just decided to start cutting them after a certain time instead of just keeping them in NXT forever. I think the most notable name was Bodie Hayward, who was the big blonde kid that's been, kind of associated with Chase Andre Chase and all that. I believe he was cut. There have been a few other names, not necessarily names you would know. Pull up the story. I'm getting this from Cage Side Seats. Let's see. All right. So there's been right now, Bodie Hayward, probably the best known one. Sloane Jacobs, who at one time wrestled on the independent scene as Notorious Mimi, 19 years old. She'd been on TV since March, but mostly competed on Level Up. Erica Yan, from Shanghai, China. Damaris Griffin, played football, and I gotta remember, I'd have to look it up, see where. It says former football player from Texas. So, and then Ru Fang, another signee out of China. Those are the names being reported as no longer with WWE. So, so best wishes to them. Something tells me that, and I'm sure a couple of them will at least find their way on the independent scene. So we'll see. But anyway, right now it is the blonde from Chase U taking on Kiana James. Forget what the blonde's name is. But that's okay. Let's see what else. Austin FC Magic finally ran out. The Verde Magic finally ran out as they fall to LAFC 3-0. It just, and from the very start of the match, it was pretty obvious it wasn't going to be their day. And so, tough sledding, but man, congratulations to the Verde. This season probably exceeded expectations. Probably it did. After last season, and it was this is only their second season in existence. but this season definitely exceeded expectations. Second place in the Western Conference in Major League Soccer. They have, thanks to their seeding, they did qualify for the CONCACAF Cup Championships, or CONCACAF Champions League. Excuse me. It's kind of like this hemisphere's version of the UEFA Champions League. So they'll be competing in that coming up in 2023. They'll compete. It'll run concurrent with the MLS season. So anyway, Duke Hudson put what's her name's foot on the ropes to, get a shortcut, and Andre Chase just sent Duke Hudson to the back, and he actually went. So kind of interesting. And Kiana James gets the win. So, let's see what else. Got a few independent shows this weekend in addition to Inspire. So we'll talk about those. Like I said, we'll talk about Crown Jewel. If you watched Raw last night, congratulations to Alexa Bliss and Asuka capturing the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. They beat Dakota Kai and Io Sky. I'll be honest, I have the sneaky suspicion that means Bianca Belair is going to drop the Raw Women's title to Bayley in Saudi Arabia. They've got their last woman standing match. That's right, for the title. And somebody's attacking Andre Chase. I want to say it's one of the what's their Gallus? Yeah, one of the guys from Gallus. So anyway, yeah. That was kind of neat. But yeah, that get the feeling that that might mean Bianca loses the title. We'll see. I could be completely wrong. We'll mention it in the final segment, but did you see the video on AEW Dynamite last week where it was have not had an inkling, had not had anything about the Elite, Young Buck, Kenny Omega, since everything that went down after All Out. Well, I think, was it 2 weeks ago, they actually got a mention on Dynamite. Then last week there was this video, and it was not acknowledging anything, but there was this video. It was basically a montage of different points in the brief history of AEW with the Young Bucks, with Kenny, and they would show it, and then they would show that little short, and then it would pause, and they would disappear or fade away, and they would play the audio, and then the voices would fade away, and it ended with them fading away, and then the AEW logo and it fading away. Obviously, it was so funny because everything I saw on social media was, they finally acknowledged the Elite. It's like, okay, yeah, but what does the video mean? It makes, and the word around the campfire, and the reports from Dave Meltzer from Wrestling Observer and such, that the investigation that was conducted into what happened has concluded. And in fact, I believe there was a report that the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega were backstage last week at Dynamite. So what that means, we'll see. You know, when do we, or I guess we'd say, when should we see them emerge on TV? So promoting season premiere of Young Rock this Friday night on NBC. And if you hadn't heard, so Becky Lynch was cast for this episode. She's going to play Cyndi Lauper. Going back to the rock and wrestling thing in 84, 85, MTV crossover with WWE, WWF at the time, with Hogan and Mr. T taking on Piper and Orndorff, and of course that led to, I guess it would have been 84, because that would have led to WrestleMania 1 as you're wearing a mask. No, I'm not going to say it. No, you're not Rey Mysterio.
I don't have to be.
You're not Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio is much nicer, shorter but much nicer.
Shorter but much nicer.
Nicer.
But this is my homage to like the greatest luchador of my lifetime. I think that is definitely within the realms of discussion now that I think about it. I mean, I've only been around for 38 years on this earth, and while you think of like the greats like El Santo, Blue Demon, Fishman,
Los Mascaras.
Yeah, there's a lot of good ones. You know, Perro Aguayo. You know, even Eddie's dad, Gory. It's all like Eddie himself, but it's just like Ray is probably the most translucent or transcendent.
I'll buy that.
Because I mean, the matches with him and
how are you?
Psychosis. Me?
How are you doing?
Tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I'm looking. Nope, not Barrasso. Bisnet. That's the one. All right. Tired? Long day?
Yeah.
Long day with the whole package delivery thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
if somebody knows how to make a video game out there, let's talk though. I got ideas.
Got ideas. Oh, there you go. All right, let's
and you?
Mine's good. We're gonna talk to Justin Bisnet, so I'm giving him a call now.
Hey, Stu.
Biss, what's up, man?
What's up, man? Voice is a little shaky, but I think I can make it. I just got some lemonade on it, so it's feeling good.
All right. I was waiting for Justin to show up, which he had finally had.
Yeah, that whole sore throat thing too.
Yeah, it's going around.
Yeah, imagine. All right, we're gonna do a quick intro and bring you right in, okay?
Awesome.
All right, here we go. Back here on Sports Guys Talking Wrestling on the Horn. Stu Myrick. Justin the Smash Simmons joins me, sporting a Rey Mysterio mask.
See.
Inspire After Death, coming up on Thursday at Pinballs, the Lake Creek location right here in Austin, with Forbidden War, bell time 7 p.m. Central. And to help us break it down, we bring him back whenever we can. Joining us on the Vaqueros Cafe and Cantina hotline, he is the lead promoter for Inspire After Death. It is Justin Bissonette, a.k.a. Biss. What's up, Biss? How are you, man?
Man, I'm doing good, and you can't you can't do better than Elton John, man. So that hell of an entrance.
Well,
I'm pumped for that.
Well, and that's Effie's entrance music. We've had Effie quite a few times back at Inspire, and of course one of the hottest names on the independent wrestling scene. So you gotta give him the love. So I want to hit this before we get into the card. So we've been doing, this will be our 6th month doing shows at Pinball's Lake Creek. It's been fantastic. Give me your assessment as well as kind of feedback that you're getting from those that attend.
Yeah, it's well, number one, it's been a consistent home, which is so hard to find in independent wrestling. And it's just been a place that wants to have pro wrestling. So that's a huge part for us. And then it's it's an off night. Thursday night's not a normal wrestling night. But people have come out and supported the product, come out and supported the shows, and it's a little bit of a smaller room, but it's always packed. So some of the negatives, I guess, would be just the size and the fact that we are standing room only most of the time. But those crowds kind of hang with us, and Austin, I will always say is the best wrestling fan base in the world, and that they hang with us all throughout the night.
Yeah, they really do. We've started putting the TV episodes on YouTube. WrestleSplosion. They've looked great. A lot of fun. And of course, thinking back to a lot of those cards that we called. Now seeing them on YouTube. Just talk for a second about the process to decide to put those on YouTube.
Yeah, what it really had to do with was it was the best way to show our true self was through YouTube. We were really intrigued by the idea of local TV, but I think it was a learning process for us to really figure out what all was involved with that. But being able to put them on YouTube, release them on Saturday, kind of has that feel of Saturday morning cartoons, or the old school Saturday wrestling, where wrestling would be on from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Depending on where you were at, and being able to tap into that, and then just being able to not have to cut anything to make sure we made certain time restrictions was a huge part of it, and to really be able to show off who we are.
Biss, I wanted to ask you, since the pandemic, finding a new home, this has also been a transition for Inspire, besides the new name, when it comes to like the talent that has been utilized and the talent that has been available to bring in. A lot, you guys did an awesome job by finding some of the best indie talent, and we see them now on our television screens nationwide, either on a Wednesday night or on a Monday night or on a Friday night, or heading up premium live events or pay-per-views, whichever one you want to call them. How has that transition been here in 2022 for you and the crew?
Yeah, the world kind of paused, but wrestling didn't pause. So even though that we had that break, there were shows that were happening. There were guys that were evolving and getting better. There were guys that were going ahead and deciding that they were not gonna return to wrestling when the pandemic was over. So we didn't get to kind of hit the unpause button and just start from where we left off. We had to kind of reassess the landscape and kind of where everybody was and go from there. So that was definitely a challenging part of the whole deal. But yeah, our goal is always to go out and find those people that are going to be on, be those next stars, be those people on TV, the next Ricky Starks, the next Keith Lee, the next Sammy Guevara, to find, okay, who's the next, right? And if we go out and try to use the top talent in Texas and the top independent talent from around the country that's available, we're going to stumble upon those people very easily.
Yeah,
I didn't see MJF until I saw him at Inspire. So
that's one true. I forget. I should brag on that one more often.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's been something else. You mentioned top talent, in Texas and around the country, and here lately globally. I mean, we've got, in fact, got her coming back this month, Jungle Kiona out of Japan, coming back to face Rachel Rose. Talk for a second about how impressed you've been with Jungle Kiona, and the fan reaction has been really up there when she comes out to the ring.
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of what Stardom does, what to a lesser extent Tokyo Joshi Pro does. I've always kind of between those two been more of a Stardom guy. So when I saw that she was going to be touring America, I was like, oh man, I want to make sure that I'm part of that. But that's kind of like a selfish reason, right? But I didn't realize, like, once we pulled the trigger on that, how much I wasn't alone, and when you see somebody that's a guest talent like that, and we bring them back within a month or 2 months, what that's really telling you is how well they hit it off with our crew, and how well our fans kind of receive them. Usually you bring in a guest, once a year, once 18 months or something like that, keep them fresh. There's 2 instances on this card where it's just somebody came in and just really sparked that crowd's imagination, and we just had to follow up on it.
Absolutely. We've got 3 title matches, including Teflon John defending the Inspire A.D. championship against former champion Luigi Primo. Luigi Primo's been on this quest since April, when we were in Arlington. Been on this quest to get that championship back. To that end, he's taken some interesting, side trails, if you will. Aligning himself with not only the Great Depression but the Red Scare as well. This is going to be an interesting match with Teflon John, who, calls himself Mr. Inspire, wants to redo the company in his image, taking on the man that makes the best pizza.
Yeah, this is, man, what a summary of the history of Inspire Pro is this matchup in a weird way, because not only you have Luigi Primo, who, when we announced we were going to vacate all the titles and basically start from scratch, there was a lot of excitement around that. But one person that wasn't very excited was Luigi Primo. And then also, in a weird way, the star of our WrestleMania weekend ended up being Luigi Primo, in a weird viral bit of marketing. And then you have Teflon John Bedlam, who, is one of those guys that just has that special something and is a Texas talent, but is a bit of an abrasive talent. And when you look at the history of Inspire Pro, we've been able to get a lot out of talents like that. When you look at the amount of success we had with a Sammy Guevara, and the ACH in a way, talent that may have, rubbed some other people the wrong way, but we always found to kind of get the best out of Teflon John. Definitely has his very strong opinions, and he's very outspoken. But I think he kind of fits that mold as well, as a guy that just, there's nobody that talks people into a building better than John right now, I think. And I think what you're seeing with him and Will All Day and, Prince Adam to an extent. And then, with Rachel Rose, it really kind of shows that, right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And yeah, his abrasiveness, Teflon John sometimes makes me wish MJF was back. It's just crazy.
Biss, I do want to say real quick though, I love the way that you describe your company. You guys are kind of like the NFL Raiders in that sense, where you're always able to take those people, maybe the outcast, if you will, maybe the people that do have those strong opinions that other companies can't utilize, and find a way to make them successful for your company. It's always been impressive.
Yeah, and I'll take that label. You can call me the Outlaw Whisperer if you want to. If talent's there and it's worth the juice is worth the squeeze, right? There's certain situations where it just becomes, untenable, and it's really not. But sometimes it's just knowing when to let stuff roll off your back and when to not take it so personally. Pro wrestling is such a supercharged environment. I think people take things very personally sometimes when you really just have to look at the bigger picture and get the best out of the talent that you can.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You got T. Ray Watford defending the Pure Prestige Championship against the winner of the N64 Gauntlet, which, that is a traditional Inspire match. Bringing it back this time. So many competitors that are going to be in that Gauntlet match. But, yeah, and then the winner gets the shot at the top title in Inspire against T. Ray Watford, who has really, especially over the last 6-8 months, has really just upped his game.
And you really hit the nail on the head there. That is now the top title in the company. Its lineage is unquestionable, and we've got to go find some contenders for it. So we're going to throw a lot of people into this gauntlet. A lot of them are announced. There's some really juicy surprises in there that I'm really excited about. That could easily take this thing as well. And we're gonna get some contenders for T-Ray, in particular, one that wins this gauntlet on this night and then gets a chance to go on and challenge him.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great show. 8 matches in all. It is Inspire After Death Forbidden War. Thursday night, Pinballs Arcade, the Lake Creek location on 183 North here in Austin. Bell time, 7 p.m. Central. Tickets are still available, Biss?
They're going fast. I think I'm down to 3 reserve seats and some GA. So there's plenty of GA, but reserve seats are going really fast.
All right, so make sure you get your tickets. He is Justin Biss, Bissonette, lead promoter for Inspire After Death. Biss, man, I appreciate it. Looking forward to it. I'll see you on Thursday.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate the time.
All right, Biss, that was great, man. So, as always, this will run tomorrow night, and you'll be on the podcast probably late tonight and then run radio tomorrow night, okay?
Awesome. See you guys then.
All right, see you, man.
Hey, Biss.
Take care.
Hope you feel better.
Yeah, again, Inspire After Death has been on a roll, and it's been a lot of fun. I'll be there on commentary with my partner Kenny Cross, and
Man, new people everywhere, right?
Yeah, it'll be great. So, we're gonna do our WWE Crown Jewel preview in a podcast only segment. And so make sure you go to hornfm.com or get the podcast via your favorite podcast provider to hear that. But coming up next, we will let you know what else is happening in independent wrestling around the area. You're listening to Sports Guys Talking Wrestling, and you're listening to The Horn. We're going to do our WWE Crown Jewel preview in a podcast-only segment, and that's coming up next on Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. You got to do that sometimes. Forgive me, YouTube, Twitch. You got to do that sometimes. Yeah, it's radio, so, but yeah.
Yeah, you get like a behind the scenes, live recording type deal.
We are, as I said, got NXT doing the 1-year celebration for Mandy Rose as the NXT Women's Champion, which it's like, okay, good. Who's going to take it off of her? Honestly, kind of ready for that because it's, the story's been the same for the last year. Almost year.
There's worse holding patterns to be in, though.
There is, but it's kind of like, okay, it's starting to get boring. It's starting to say, okay, we've seen this before.
Well, I mean, do you think it's going to be somebody within her own faction that's going to turn on her, or do you think it's just going to be like
I don't know. That's an interesting perspective. Could it be either JC Jane or Gigi Dolan?
Because I
don't think
yet,
so.
Right?
No, they haven't even hinted.
But I remember when Evolution broke up, that's what it was. It was Batista not wanting to give up his challenge to Triple
I don't
H.
think it's going to be. It'll be somebody from outside. I mean,
trios. Somebody usually breaks them up.
Obviously, I would think it's going to be. I think Roxanne Perez, the wrestler formerly known as Roxy. I think that would be cool. Cora Jade as well, sure. Zoe Starks. Maybe she goes after singles gold. Who knows? So, I mean, we'll see.
Now, is this taped?
No, this is live. This is live this week. So, now, SmackDown this week is taped. They taped it last week because they will be, if they should be already in Saudi Arabia.
But we don't even know if there's going to be a wrestling show.
What do you mean? What are you talking about?
There's a possibility that Saudi Arabia or Iran is going to attack Saudi Arabia. So, like, that's been in the news, like, all day.
Oh, okay.
So there's, like, a really good possibility that, it might not be safe for them to be there right now. So while they've probably flown over there,
it's not it's not exactly a safe region of the world anyway.
No, I know, but this one is like a legitimate threat apparently. That hit the news cycle today, and it was just like the big thing that was in the wrestling.
It was so funny. Well, it makes you think. Was it 2 years ago when the plane was grounded for so many hours in Saudi because payments weren't made or something like that? And Gallows and Anderson made it a point of like, we ain't doing Saudi again. Well, they're going because they were on the card.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's so much money.
But at the same time, Carl Anderson, up until I believe yesterday, was booked for a New Japan show in, I think, Osaka.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was supposed to, he's still the never openweight champion. He was supposed to defend against Hikuleo. That match is off now. But, yeah, you wonder. That'd be interesting. I wonder if they would, bring the match back on or do us like a surprise run-in or something.
I mean, would they come back and have Crown Jewel on this side of the Atlantic?
No.
Or they have it somewhere in Europe or something where it was...
No, because the deal's with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Oh, yeah, I know. But, I mean, I'm sure they have to have something written in for, durations of possible war.
Maybe. Let's hit some Crown Jewel. Got to mute you for a moment. YouTube and Twitch. Be right back. Back here on Sports Guys Talking Wrestling, podcast only segment as we're watching NXT, and sure enough, it's Elbow Fire, aka Alba Fire. We were talking during the break about who's going to take the title, the NXT Women's title, away from Mandy Rose, who's celebrating 1 year. Maybe it'll be Alba Fire. Who knows? We'll see. This Saturday, if politics of the world allow it, WWE Crown Jewel coming up Saturday, noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central.
Well, maybe coming up.
Like we said, if the politics allow it, it will stream on Peacock. Come to us from the Mursool, Mrsool Park in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Right now, as we speak, 7 matches on the card. Braun Strowman facing Omos with MVP in his corner. The Battle of the Giants. We've seen that going back and forth last couple weeks, particularly on SmackDown.
But I'm down to see it, though.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, why not?
This
get
is
the big hoss match.
This is supposed to be basically a fun card.
Yeah.
You know,
It's a glorified house show card. But, yeah, Braun Strowman, Omos. I got to believe Strowman will get the win because I think they won him.
I think DQ. There's like a no contest.
Okay. All right. Interesting.
They keep them both strong.
Yeah. In trios action, the OC, AJ Styles, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, taking on the Judgment Day. Finn Balor, Damian Priest, Dominic Mysterio, and of course Rhea Ripley in their corner. Last couple times, the Judgment Day has gotten the upper hand on the OC, thanks in large part to Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
And, of course, AJ, Gallows, and Anderson, they don't have a way to get back at her. Now, if you the talk around the campfire has been they are going to have somebody. It could be Raquel Rodriguez, which that'd be kind of cool.
Okay.
To mitigate that.
I feel like this would have been a really good spot for Emma, though, if they were really going to bring her back for real. Because it was a strange appearance just to have her randomly on, and like you could tell that the live crowd didn't necessarily.
Yeah, if you didn't watch SmackDown Friday night, we saw the return of Emma, formerly known as Tennille Dashwood, who finished up her stint with Impact Wrestling and now is back with WWE as Emma. Which, that was kind of of the return signings. I think that one was That one's probably one of the more interesting ones.
Yeah,
I
didn't foresee that happening.
Yeah.
I don't think it was anything on the radar. But at the same time,
I heard now the other name I heard would be Lacey Evans, but they pretty much messed her up, or her push up just big time. Just couldn't figure out if they wanted her as a babyface or a heel, and then she tried to be a heel. Nobody cared, and
well, that's the problem here, though. I kind of feel like nobody really cared about Emma's return. It was one of those returns for the long-time fan. Like, you know.
Yeah, because she was facing Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
It was like, you got a returning superstar. Why put her in a match against your dominant SmackDown Women's Champion? I mean, it kind of kills whatever buzz there might have been.
I think at that juncture, it kind of just tells you where they see her on the card, and it's probably going to be like a gatekeeper of sorts, kind of like I guess what would be the current Shelton Benjamin role.
Nevertheless, OC taking on the Judgment Day. Man, I think I kind of want to lean the Judgment Day. Just because I don't think they would debut if it's Raquel or whoever. They wouldn't debut whoever the female counterpart to the OC would be until Raw Monday.
Oh, I thought you were just gonna say like in Saudi Arabia.
No,
I was like, I guess that makes kind of sense.
No, they wouldn't debut her there. I think they wait until they get back to Raw. So I think I'm gonna lean Judgment Day on this one. So.
Yeah, that's where I was kind of going with it. Unless they do find a counterpart of some sort.
Yeah, we'll see.
But is she even going to be there?
I don't know.
Like, is there a women's match on this card this year?
There is. Yes, there is. And we'll get to it here in just a second. Steel cage match. Drew McIntyre versus Karrion Kross. I would put dollars to donuts. Scarlett is not with Karrion Kross.
Or extremely covered up. That's the only thing.
That's what they usually do. So I'm thinking it's. I
think it's Drew McIntyre. Though.
You think Drew?
Yeah, because like Karrion Kross just, I don't know, man. Like I think Vince was kind of right even before he put him in the gimp outfit. It was just like he really had just really been a really cool entrance. and booked well. But now that he's on the main roster, I'm like, I'm not sure who he is. What's his purpose? What's this time thing? You know, it just hasn't hit for me. Not saying that he can't bounce back from it. I'm just saying, like, all these wrestlers, you know, even Drew McIntyre wasn't a hit the first time on the roster, but for such a ruffle it caused that everybody was like, oh, it killed his character. I haven't really figured out what his character is.
Yeah. I think I'm going to lean. I think I'm with you. I'm going to lean Drew McIntyre on this one. It would not shock me though if Karrion Kross gets the win. In another Haas match, Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
I mean, that one looks. That's probably like the matchup of the night.
Yeah.
That's something that everybody's been wanting to see for years. Now that both of them have been back in the company.
Yeah.
And after the
I think Brock wins, but
you think
I
so?
think it's going to be fun.
I'm interested to see if this is the last time we see Brock. I mean, because this is like, you know, a lot of money.
Because they should be getting close to the end of his deal. I don't know. I don't know if it would be or not.
I mean, do you foresee him as part, and it's 2 nights, right, of WrestleMania?
Coming up in April, yes, in Los Angeles.
Yes. But nowhere near the title. Somewhere like in this type of picture.
Oh, Lord, no. They won't be in the title picture. No. So, yeah, it could be interesting. For the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships, the Usos defending against the Brawling Brutes, Ridge Holland and Butch.
By the way, I do think that Lashley beats Brock.
Okay. All right.
I don't know how, but he will.
Hey, it's possible. They've done this already, and I don't see the result changing. Usos keep the titles.
Oh, that's what I was going to ask you today. Were you feeling?
By the way, are you feeling Usi?
Yeah.
Are you feeling Usi? Good Lord, it's funny how these things get over, and God bless Sami Zayn. He makes it so much fun. So, Usos will keep the titles. So, in a last woman standing match, Bianca Belair defending the Raw Women's Championship against Bayley. So on Raw Monday night, you had Alexa Bliss and Asuka coming back from quote injury. They capture the women's tag team titles from Dakota Kai and Io Sky of Damage Control. Congrats to them, but now I've got the feeling Bayley captures the title in Saudi Arabia.
Oh wow, you really think so? I don't foresee that happening. I just don't see.
You think Bianca keeps it?
Like we said before, it's kind of like house show rules here. So I just don't foresee any major changes happening storyline wise.
Yeah,
just entertainment.
As best as I can recall, they don't do too many title changes on these Saudi shows. We've had a couple. You know, you had Goldberg beat Bray Wyatt for the Universal title, I believe, and so I don't know. I'm like I said, I get the feeling Bayley could win, but
Bianca's just been so popular during this run.
She is, and she's fantastic.
I can't see them taking cash cow John Cena style. I can't see them taking the title off of her right now. Not for this show.
Yeah. And in the main event, Roman Reigns defending the undisputed WWE Universal Championship of the world, surrounding the global universe, whatever you want to call it, against Logan Paul. Does it make you the fact that they've inserted this whole Logan Paul has plates in his hand because he broke his hand? Does that do anything for you as far as intrigue for this match?
Yes, the build up for the match has been excellent. If you were not if you were not a wrestling fan, right, and then
why would you watch?
They would show you this because there's a lot of people that aren't wrestling fans that are tuning in to watch Logan Paul, right? So in order to understand what's going on, they've done a really good job of explaining hey, Logan Paul, has beaten this great UFC fighter, this other boxer, this other UFC guy, right? He's capable of beating The Miz during WrestleMania. And everybody, and the way that Paul Heyman was trying to explain this without trying to insult Roman Reigns.
By the way, poor Miz gets knocked out by Roman on Raw. That was funny.
See? So it was all like, Paul got off easy in retrospect. But I like the way this works. And the reason why I like the whole like hand pin thing is because it's a beautiful callback to like old school pro wrestling lore when Lex Luger had the pin in the forearm plates, because he really does, and that was his finisher back in 94, 95 with the WWF. Remember, it was after the motorcycle accident.
That was still the torture rack.
No, in the WWF, he had the running forearm because he had the motorcycle accident, and then they showed him. They showed him in the hospital, and they give you the X-ray, and they put the plates on the pin.
I'm glad it intrigues you. It does nothing for me because there's no chance in hell they're going to take the titles off Roman. But hey, for those that like Logan Paul, there you go. Have at it.
I mean,
it does nothing for me. So.
Pro wrestling is going to need it. It's like baseball. It needs new fans continuously, and baseball hasn't been getting them. But pro wrestling, it is one of those things that if you liked
Logan
it as a
Paul
kid,
is not going to be the next next megastar in wrestling. I'm telling you that now. I will put my monthly salary on the line for that.
I don't think you want to do that because 10 years ago, people were saying the same thing about The Miz, this reality television star.
He's not a megastar. He's a superstar, not a megastar.
I don't know, man. He's been
Roman Reigns is barely a megastar.
Yeah, but Miz has had a lot of crossover success. He has been.
Yeah, so is Jericho. So that's
no. I mean, like even Miz was just on Dancing with the Stars. You know how many people watch Dancing with the Stars?
So is Jericho.
But he headlined WrestleMania and became champion. Miz.
Did Jericho win a title at WrestleMania? I can't remember.
He did.
He's been at several.
I believe he won the one in Seattle.
Okay, so
but I'm just saying that but Jericho's a real wrestler, right? He's a wrestler's wrestler. He traveled the world and stuff.
Yeah.
Miz was a guy off of, with Dunn, right?
With Kevin Dunn on
right?
the Real World.
On Real World, a guy that just wanted to be a pro wrestler.
Well, but he's been wrestling now for close to 20 years.
Yeah, but if you really think about like pro wrestling in the history, there's a good chance that if Logan Paul really wants to stick with this, he is the next Miz. With a bigger fan base already built in.
Okay, but I still don't see him as the next megastar. He's not the next Cena, not the next Hogan, Rock, Stone Cold. No, there's no. I will say that now. That's not going to happen. It's not. I
don't think you really know how big he is on social media.
Maybe I don't. Again, I'm older, so it's beyond me.
Do you know who Mr. Beast is?
Mr. Beast? No.
Yeah.
I know the Beast Brock Lesnar.
No, Mr. Beast he makes the most money off of any YouTube host. Okay. We're talking billions. He can make $1 billion now off of that.
Okay. All right. Anyway, that's WWE Crown Jewel this Saturday, noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, right when college football kicks off too. And from Saudi Arabia, and you can get it on Peacock. Coming up after the break, we'll let you know what's happening in independent wrestling around the area. You're listening to Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. All right. Mr. Beast, huh? I think I might have heard the name.
Yeah.
But I couldn't tell you who he is to save my life.
I mean, I don't watch him.
Then again, during F1 week, I got an invite to a party where who was it? The Chainsmokers.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I've heard of them only because I forget if it was L.A. or Miami. They played a Super Bowl party that my buddy Joe Roderick went to. But I couldn't have told you one song they sang, I did listen to them for a little bit. It was nice, checked them out on Apple Music or whatever. So it was good, I guess. So, yeah. So, meanwhile, we got Zoe Starks and Indy Hartwell in the ring. So, Let's do our final segment. Here we go.
Ooh, that was cool.
Back here on Sports Guys Talking Wrestling on the Horn. Stu Myrick, Justin Smash Simmons. Did you see the video on AEW Dynamite last week with the Elite? Then they finally started. They acknowledged them the week before. Then they had this package. It was basically just different little cuts from AEW's history with the Elite. But then, you'd hear the audio, and then all of a sudden the audio would fade out, and they would fade out, and it ended with the AEW logo fading out. It was interesting. I don't know, and I'm wondering what that's going to mean. I mean, most everybody was just saying, "Oh, that means the Elite's coming back." Okay, but in what? Because there's something there.
They really can't just waste all this energy. They have to take this negative and utilize it as a positive, right? So they have to make something.
I don't know
out of this.
I don't know what they're going to do. So,
but it makes it seem like they're going to go heel, right?
Well, they were heel.
But
so
I mean,
they're not gonna go heel.
Not likable. I mean, they were getting more cheering reaction than anybody else, so I couldn't tell the difference. They got shoes they got to sell.
Yeah. We got independent wrestling shows coming up this weekend besides Inspire. We're gonna tell you about them. Starting with Texoma Pro Wrestling presenting Invasion Friday at Sherman Elks Lodge in Sherman. Bell time 8 p.m. Central. Rocky Romero will be there from New Japan Pro Wrestling. Mike Bennett, Barrett Brown, Tim Storm, and more. That's Texoma Pro Wrestling this Friday night in Sherman. Matt War Pro Wrestling presents Trouble on the Trinity Friday at the Martin House Brewing Company in Fort Worth. Bell time 7 p.m. Central. Shane Taylor, Izzy James, Brian Keith, Brick Savage, and more. That's Matt War Pro Wrestling this Friday night in Fort Worth. Metroplex Wrestling presents Warzone Saturday at the MPX Event Center in Bedford. Bell time 7:30 p.m. Central. Tatum Manning, Joe Angelo Garcia, Aaron Eagle, Kid Bandit, and more. That's Metroplex Wrestling this Saturday in Bedford. And then Paye Pro Wrestling presents Justified Saturday at the Grace Preparatory Academy in Arlington. Bell time 7 p.m. Central. Alexander Hammerstone, the MLW World Champion, will be there. Chandler Hopkins, Fuego del Sol, Khan, and more. That's Paye Pro Wrestling this Saturday in Arlington. That's a look at independent wrestling around the area, wherever you may be. Go out and support independent wrestling.
It's a little far, but I would still like to see Hammerstone in person. I haven't seen him wrestle in
I've
person
seen him
yet.
a couple times. He's really good. And, of course, been to several of the MLW shows when they came to Texas. So, football this weekend. It is the final week of the Texas high school football season, and we're kicking it off on Thursday. We'll start with LBJ taking on Crockett at Burger Stadium. Pregame, 7:15 p.m. Central. Kickoff, 7:30 p.m. Central. You can hear that on 105.3 The Bat with Craig Way on the call there.
How many points is LBJ scoring this time?
Oh, good God. 96-0 against Eastside. There's got to be a mercy rule or something. Also on Thursday, Vandergrift and Westwood collide at Kelly Reeves, the Palace on Palmer. Pre-game, 6:45 p.m. Central. Kickoff at 7 p.m. Central. Marlboro Train and the crew there. You can hear that on 101.9 FM and AM 1260. Friday night, Lake Travis ends its season against the Bowie Bulldogs. Coach Jeff Abels bringing his squad to Cavalier Stadium. Pre-game, 7:15 p.m. Central. Kickoff, 7:30 p.m. Central. Mark Honig, Bucky Godbolt in the booth, and I will be on the sidelines. You can hear that on the Horn, 104.9 FM. Saturday, the Texas Longhorns traveling to the Little Apple, taking on the Purple Curse, known as Kansas State. Pre-game, 2 p.m. Central, with the Horn Crew. Kickoff at 6 p.m. Central from Manhattan. You can hear that all across the Austin Radio Network, the Horn, Coke FM, Spanish broadcast with my dear friend, Dr. Ruben Pizarro, on 105.3 The Bat. Cowboys have the week off, coming off that big win against Chicago.
I'm assuming that the Longhorns aren't the favorite on the road this time.
Actually, I think I saw they were.
Are you serious?
I don't know why.
I mean, Kansas State they've been.
And Kansas State always beats Texas.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So check it out this weekend. And that'll do it for this week's Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. You can follow Justin the Smash Simmons on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at The Smash Simmons. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram at Stu Myrick. That's STEWMYRICK. You can follow the show on Twitter and Instagram, Twitter and Twitch at SGTWATX. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. We live stream on YouTube and Twitch most Tuesday nights, 7:30 p.m. Central. You can catch us Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Central on the flagship radio station for the University of Texas Athletics and your radio home in Austin for the Dallas Cowboys. We are the Horn, 104.9, 101.9 FM and AM 1260. Or you can catch us anytime by either going to hornfm.com and click on the On-Air tab, or by subscribing to us on your favorite podcast provider. Make sure you rate and review us while you're there. Big thanks to Nick Aldis and Justin Bissonnette for joining us. Big thanks to you for giving us a little bit of your time. For Justin, I'm Stu. Thank you so much, and we will see you at the matches.
Goodbye and good night. Bang!
And there we go. So there you go. Done and done. Meanwhile, we still got a little over a half hour left of NXT.
I mean, this is the pro wrestling lull, anyways, portion of the season.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, you got Survivor Series towards the end of the month.
But I mean, that's
kind of like, yeah, if you look at the big four, that's probably the lowest ranked of the big four.
I mean, is there a way that they can?
Although they are bringing back War Games, or they're going to bring War Games to Survivor Series.
Yes.
So that could be interesting.
I mean, but is that enough to make it the event that it once was? I mean, you lived through it the first time. I really didn't. So I mean, was it a really big deal when it first came out? Because that ran against Starrcade, right?
That was a show that would run against Starrcade. Now you have to remember, I was an NWA guy, so I was going to watch Starrcade, rather than Survivor Series. Plus, Survivor Series, you didn't have any title matches. It was all the 5-on-4 and 4, 5-on-5.
Yeah, it was all teams,
and it was storyline driven, but you weren't seeing any titles being defended. So, this one, they need to get away from the brand supremacy. Forget T-shirt season. Let's not have Raw versus SmackDown because it's just silly.
I don't think they're doing that anymore.
Yeah, I don't think they are. I think it's going to be storyline driven.
Have you liked how it's been so far then? I mean, I guess this is a good thing.
Not in the last several years, just because it's all of a sudden you get these wrestlers, and the weird thing was you would have the draft, and then a month later, all of a sudden they're loyal to whatever, it's like, it's a little unbelievable.
But, I mean, it's no different than playing for a team. You get drafted or traded somewhere else, and it's like, oh, well, you throw out all the old stuff and you bring in all the new stuff. Or like when the coach gets cut,
Yeah, but it was just they would put these teams together with no – it was just – it was like they were pulling names out of a hat.
Well, yeah.
So, it just wasn't –
I guess it would have helped if they said that they would have gotten a cash bonus if they won or something. That makes more sense, but –
or I don't know, a match at the Royal Rumble, whatever, the Lone Survivor or something like that.
I mean, what they should do is like they should have had like And I mean, there's still time, and I guess it still could work. Like whoever wins those matches gets put into like a tournament in the next couple of pay-per-views to determine who will meet at Royal Rumble, for the championship.
Yeah.
Like
That's
I can see that
possible.
working too. I mean, we could book this, I think.
Yeah, sure. So we'll see. We'll see what they do. I mean, they got to get, and
Well, we'll see.
you know,
if we get
it's
Saudi
crazy
Arabia.
because they got to get through this.
Right now,
the
reports are
crown
saying
jewel.
that the show will go on and that they supposedly have like a security plan in place. But I mean, that's all hearsay. There's nothing official to report.
Yeah. So, we shall see. Oh, here's the promo for NXT Deadline, I think. Live Saturday, December 10th. Okay, so that's the next premium live event from NXT, which falls on the same day as Ring of Honor Final Battle. So, which reminds me, I got an email so I can go to Final Battle. But yeah.
So that's going to be the final pay-per-view or premium live event
For NXT for 2022.
Got it. So they got to go through this whole month without anything.
Probably.
Because like the War Games thing used to be an NXT.
That was an
thing.
NXT. Now it's going to be Survivor Series. So, yeah.
I've never seen her wrestle before, really.
Hey, it's Cora Jade.
I've seen her wrestle. But
Yes,
I mean,
we've seen her, but the other girl that's not the UFC or the MMA fighter, is it?
I'm
Fought in Bellator, I think.
Feroz.
I don't know.
I mean, it's tough to say. But man, Cora Jade is a pretty tall lady, though, at least in comparison.
No. Anyway, let's see. What do you got going this weekend?
Oh, just like work, like games.
I'm gonna be so Thursday night, be Inspire After Death doing commentary. Friday night, of course, like Travis Bowie, and then we are Saturday and Sunday we are taping the Rhodes Wrestling Academy 6th Student Showcase.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
That'll be next weekend. Hopefully, I'll have an interview with Dustin next week for the show.
That would be perfect because I won't be able to be here. I have a basketball game I got to do that week.
Okay.
That's what I was going to tell you too.
Okay.
But I was going to ask you, you working with anybody else new this time?
What at Inspire? Or?
No.
Oh, at the school? I think Rebel. I think we'll be back.
Not
Rebel. Yeah. I think Rebel. So that'll be fun. So yeah, that'll be fun. I was actually there. I was at the school last night or yesterday, meeting the students, getting information, all that good stuff. Some interesting personalities that you'll get to meet. The showcase will debut on Rhodes Wrestling Academy's YouTube channel on, I believe it will be on I guess that would be let me think. I'm lost. Okay, so today is the 1st, so 11th, 12th. So next, I believe it's next Saturday, the 12th. So, let's see. Here we go. Let's try this. Here we go. That's it. Yeah. Okay, well, I think it's going to be Pistons.
Were there any like longtime indie guys signed up for this class?
No. This one is mostly
Like first timers?
mostly rookies. Okay, 6 student showcase November 13th, so Sunday. 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, and you can see it on the RWA's YouTube channel. No, there's only a couple of them. There's a couple of them with a couple of years experience. A couple of them mentioned being trained other schools in Texas. One of them mentioned Dog Pound in San Antonio with Rodney Mack and Jazz. So, you know, but I think most of them are rookies. So it'll be good. It'll be good to see them. Check them out. All that good stuff. So yeah. So that's coming up. So we're gonna tune out and check out the rest of NXT. Thanks to everybody that joined us. Hope you enjoyed the show. Again, this will be out, this podcast tonight, and then of course radio show tomorrow. But for Justin, I'm